Hi everyone, in today's video we're going to have a go at modelling a bottle of Prime inside a blender. So we'll model everything, texture it, and then have a go at doing this lighting setup that we've got here. So there's nothing massively complex about it, but a good little introduction. And then our final render ended up looking like that. So hopefully you enjoy. First thing we're going to do is hit A to select everything, and then X to delete it. Once we've done that, we're going to insert our reference image. So if you press the key that's above the tab key on the left side of your keyboard, you get this menu up here. I'm going to come to the front view. Then you hold down Shift and click on A to add anything. I'm going to go to Image and Reference. On my desktop, I've then got my reference image of my bottle. I'm going to turn the opacity down a little bit so it's a bit easier to see what we're doing when we've actually got our bodies in. So if you click on it, and on the right hand side, on all these menus here, come down to where it says Data, click on Opacity, and you can just take that down so it's just a little bit more opaque. I'm going to grab it by hitting G and then press Y so we can move it forwards and backwards and just move it back a bit. Come back to the front and then we're going to just scale it down a little bit. The reason we're scaling it down, if I go Shift A and bring in a cube, that cube is a meter cubed in terms of like sizing, so that's going to end up as a massive bottle, which we don't want. So I'm just going to delete that cube by hitting Delete, grab my plane, hit S and just scale it down a bit, and then I can use my scroll wheel just to zoom in a little bit more, like that. I didn't mean to do that. So what we're going to do then, bring that back over here, there we go, is go into the front view, Shift A, going to go to the cylinder. I'm then going to grab it, hit S to scale and start to drag it down a bit. Zoom in. I'm going to press Shift and Z to go into wireframe mode. So Shift Z toggles that on and off. You can also do it up here as well. So this is our normal mode. Then we've got material preview and then we've got render mode, which we're not going to use yet. So you can do it like that or it's just Shift Z. So just want to make sure first of all that the cylinder is the right diameter as the bottle. And then what we're going to do is make sure we've got the cylinder selected, hit Tab to go into edit mode. And you've got edges, faces and vertices. So vertices are the little dots that you see. Edges are the lines, faces are the big old rectangles that you've got. So you can toggle between those up here, 1, 2 and 3, or it's 1, 2 and 3 on your keyboard. We want to be in vertices mode, and I'm going to box select, so I'm going to click and drag to select all of those, hit G so I can grab it, and I want to lock it in place, Z so I can just go up and down. The reason why we are in X-ray mode, I do that. If I do that not in X-ray mode, I've only grabbed the front ones. So you end up with like a weird shape. So Shift Z to do it. I'm going to grab the edges by going to here and then I'll hold on Alt and click to select all of them, and then E to extrude and just drag it up there. S to scale and just bring that in like that. We're going to come down to the bottom again. We want to grab this bottom edge, so we press 2 so we're in edge mode, and if I want to select that whole like ring of edges, hold down Alt and click to select all. Control B to bevel and click, and then you get the bevel pop-up menu here. You can drag it up a little bit, add a few segments so it looks a bit more like a rounded base of our bottle. If you zoom in, we've got like these little like divots that we want to install, not install, but put into our model. So I'm going to press Control R to add an edge loop, and I can drag down, and what I'm looking to do is put it as close to the middle of these as I can. Control R again, I'm going to do that a couple of times. Up here again, Control R, drag it down a bit more, Control R, like that. So I've got those there. I want to select all of them. So again, I'm going to hold down Alt and left mouse button click, and now I'm going to hold down Shift and Alt so I can select multiple at the same time, like that. I'm going to hit Control B to bevel. This time I'm going to put the segments down to 1. I'm going to drag it, and I just want to try and make sure, I'll zoom in, it's getting to the right sort of distance, like that, something like that, and click off. So you can see what's going on is I've got these extra rows here. So what I want to do is select all of them. So 3 to go into face mode, and if I hold down Alt and click near the edge there, I can select the whole ring. So I'm going to do the same there. What we want to do is hit E to extrude, and then S to scale, but it's going weird at the minute. So I'm going to Control Z to undo. What we want to do is up here, change that to individual origins. Now I press E and click and then S to scale. It's going to do it for each individual part. So you don't want it too much, just a little bit like that. So then we've got the basic sort of shape of the bottom of our bottle. We're just going to sort out the top. So we're going to come back to the front view. Go to X-ray mode by pressing Shift and Z. Go to edge mode by pressing 2 and then Alt and click to grab that. I'm then going to hit E to extrude and come up. And then what we're going to do is E, click and then S to scale out so you can see that line come out there. E to extrude and come up. E, click S to scale and bring in, then E to bring up. Like that. So we've got the bit rough sort of shape of our bottle. Now we're going to delete that face there, so you can either hit delete on your keyboard or X and then just go to face. We've got the basic sort of shape of our bottle. If you come to the right hand side and click on the spanner, you come to modifiers. I can click, go to generate and subdivision surface, and it rounds it off nicely, but it kind of looks a bit weird here. So I'm going to turn that off first. The reason for that is we need to add some supporting edges. So I'm going to turn on wireframe so you can see what's going on. So these edges here, if you want to keep them sharp, as in like not rounded, you need to add supporting edges. So the best way to do that is going to click on it and go into edit mode by pressing tab, 2 to go into edge mode, and I'm going to go Alt click and grab all of these faces here. And I'm going to go Control B to bevel, segments to 2. I'm going to play around with this. That's probably size-wise okay. Like that. And then if I go to generate subdivision like that, turn off my wireframe, you see that's now kept the shape of that bottle. The other thing I want to do is we're going to go to generate and solidify, because at the minute our bottle, if I turn that off, my solidify off, it's paper thin. So if I have my solidify on, and you can make this a bit thicker, you see that actually gives some thickness to our bottle like that. Now if it still looks a bit rubbish like that, what you need to do, shade smooth, and there you go, you've got the shape of your bottle. Now one thing I do want to do, so I'm going to apply, I'm going to turn off my subdivision surface first, I'm going to apply my solidify. So what I'm going to do is hold on Alt and A with my mouse over it, and it just applies it. Because when I go into tab mode here, I need to add some supporting edges here as well. So I'm in edge mode again, 2, Alt click, Shift Alt click, Control B to bevel. And now if I were to go generate subdivision, there we go. So that's the basics of our bottle done. So we're going to do our lid. So we could do the thread, but because we're just going to have the lid on, you're not going to see the thread. So there's no actual point in doing it. So you don't have to worry about that, but we'll do one where we do like the thread at a later date. So to do our lid, we're going to go to Shift A, mesh. I'm going to grab another cylinder, Shift Z to make it smaller, and S to scale, or Shift, sorry, to go to X-ray mode, G and Z to bring it up in position, S to scale more, G, Z, just bringing it into position, get a little bit smaller still, like that. So that's the right thickness, or diameter rather. I'm going to hit tab, go 1 to go into edge mode, select it all, G, Z to bring it down to the right height. So we've got basic lid at the minute. I'm going to give this a quick save so I don't lose anything. You want to give that a bit of shape, so press 2 to go in edge mode. I'm going to grab this edge here, Control B to bevel. I'm going to start to drag that to round it off a little bit. Something like that. And then if you look at a reference image, there's a little ring that goes around. So Control R to add an edge loop, click and just drag it down. Like that. And I'm going to grab this edge by going 3, then Alt and click near the edge to select that whole ring. E to extrude, click and then S to drag out a little bit, just to give it a little bit of thickness, like that. So we've then got our lid. Now we need to do the same thing as we did with our bottle, so I'm going to grab that, G and Z just to bring it up. In fact, I'm going to hide our bottle for a second. So if I go into tab mode, I'm going to get rid of that face by pressing 3, click on that face, X, and delete, and then we'll get rid of this ring here as well. Click near the edge, hold on Alt, and click X, and delete. So now it's hollow, but we want to solidify it. So I'm going to grab it, generate solidify, so that gives it a bit of thickness, like that, and then we'll apply it by pressing Ctrl A while we're hovering over it. And then we want to add some supporting edges again, so hit tab 2 to go into edge mode, and then we're going to press Alt and click on these like that, and then Control B to bevel, put those segments to 2 like that, click off, and now if we go to generate subdivision, and then we can change smooth, we've got our lid. So if we bring our bottle back, GZ, bring that down, we've now got a lid and a bottle. Last thing to model is we want to do the label. That's quite easy to do, so what we're going to do, give this a save. We're going to take, first of all, let's name these first. So come to your outline here, I'm going to call that lid so we know what it is. I'll take this one, got it, bottle. If you're being organised, really, you should name everything all the time. I rarely do, but it's fine. So we're going to take, let's get rid of the lid for now. We're going to take this, go to tab mode. In fact, what we're going to do is we're going to apply our modifier by Control A to apply it. Go to tab mode, and you see we've got loads more faces now because we've applied it. So I want to select essentially up to there. So what I'm going to do is go to face mode by pressing 3, and then just Alt click somewhere like that. Then if you press Control and the plus sign on your keyboard, I'm going to keep clicking until I get to where I want to go, which is about there. You see that selected all of that. If I press Shift D, it will duplicate it. Right click, put it back where it was, and then I'm going to press P and separate by selection. So now I've got another thing. So I'll take the bottle and turn it off. I've now got a duplicate of that, and what we're going to do is we'll call that label. So we'll delete some faces at the bottom because we're not going to need those. So 3 to go into face mode, select these, X, and delete faces. We're also not going to need probably those as well, so let's delete faces like that. So we've got bottle, lid, and label. We probably want to scale our label just a little bit, just so it doesn't intersect with our bottle too much. Something like that. Or the other thing we could do is add a solidify. So go generate a solidify. Let's turn off our lid. There we go, so let's do this. Add a little bit of thickness. Shift A to apply. That's probably a bit too thick, not too thick, so let's make that a bit less, something like that. There you go. So now we're going to start applying some materials. So we'll do the label first because that's the bit that takes the most amount of work, but it's still not a lot. So we're going to undo, or like hide those. So we want to apply material to it. So what we're going to do is we need to grab some edges to it. So what we'll do is go to edge mode by pressing 2 and just click on one of these edges here, like that. Right click. I'm going to go to mark seam. So that seam is now running all the way down there. It's going on the other side as well, but we also want to make sure we're going to have to grab these as well. So we're going to grab these seams, hold it Alt and click down there, and we're going to come around to the side and grab those. Right click, mark seam. And the reason why I've done that is so that we can unwrap it. So I'm going to give this a save. I'm going to go to UV editing. And it automatically goes into edit mode, but if you click on it, go edit, scroll over to where it says UV, and if you go to project from view, oh sorry, you need to A to select everything, UV, project from view. And then we're going to select everything, right click, unwrap. So essentially it's unfolded it, but at the minute, so we're going to add a material to this now and you can see what's going to happen. So we're going to click down here to materials, add a new material here, and base color, we're going to click on image texture and open. And then I have got the prime label. If I go to material mode, you see it's kind of, well, it doesn't look right at all, does it? So what we're going to do, go to edit mode, and it's because this is the image, but these are the UVs. So we need to straighten them out and make them the right sort of size. So that's actually super easy to do. So we're just going to zoom in. I'm going to take one of these rectangles, and we're going to go into edge mode by pressing 2. And I'm going to grab it, right click, go auto align, right click, auto align, just grab all 4 sides of this particular rectangle. And if I go to 3, so I can just select that rectangle and do Control L to select it all. Then right click and then follow active quad. And you see now I'm going to move it over here. It's completely straightened it out now, which is what we want. So we're going to do the same on this one. So it doesn't matter which one you're grabbing as long as it's like close to being square. So 2 to go to edge mode, select it, right click, align auto, right click, align auto, and then select it all, Control L, right click, active quad. So now there's a straightened. We don't need to worry about this because that's not actually going to get seen. So we'll just move that to the side. Now, same with this one. I can just move out of the way, like that. So I'm going to grab this one. And here you can see what's going on here. So first of all, I want to make it the same size. So I'm going to hit S to scale and just make it bigger. But if you see, it's kind of the wrong way around. So we're going to rotate it. So I'm going to R, X, 90 to rotate it around. So it's now facing the right way, but we need to make it the right size. So I'm going to hit S to scale it. I'm going to hit Y just so I can make it taller or shorter. And G just to sort of line it up. And all you're doing now is just trying to line it up with the image so it knows how to lay on it. So SZ now to, no, that's the wrong one. SX, drag it into position. Like that. So you see it's now on there. We'll do the same on the top one. So I'm going to take this one, rotate X 90. Same as before, G, just bring it over. S to scale. SX. Now you don't necessarily have to do both, because the inside's not actually going to get seen, but just in terms of like, it's good practice just to get used to unwrapping a little bit. This isn't a hard thing to unwrap either, it's literally just a cylinder, but the idea being, so now you can see the lips on the inside as well, like that. Okay, now I've just noticed that this one has got like a seam there, so if I wanted to change that image, I could just come here. I've got another one, so I've got, say like, take the blue. And that's now changed it, and that's not got the seam, so I think we'll probably stick with the blue one. Okay, so I'm going to give that a save. Go to layout. Now we can't see what we've just done, so if you click on this one up here, that gives you the material preview. So we've got our label. I'm going to click on it, and because it's a plastic bottle, we want to make it a little bit, so if you come down here to the properties of your material, roughness here, so you can change the metal, so you can make it look like metal and that sort of thing. Roughness, depending on like how shiny it is, because it's a plastic bottle, we're going to bring it down a little bit. We don't make it too shiny, because it's a little bit matte, but just something like that. And this is something like that. Yeah, something like 0.2, probably about right. So we've got our label. I'm going to give this a quick save again. I'm going to bring back the bottle and the lid. So in fact, let's go to the lid first. We want to add a transparent material to that. So I'm going to come up to Blender Kit up here, click on material, type in transparent plastic. And let's see Why isn't... There we go. Let's have a look. We want like... Let's grab this, put it on there. So we've now got that transparent sort of plastic to it. I'm going to grab our lid. We want like a plastic. I like to use this plastic base for a lot of basic plastic things. So we've got that. We go to shading. We can change the color of that. So I'm going to change all these windows. So I go to view area. I'm going to close this area, and then same way view area, close this area. So we've got two views here. On this one, I'm going to view. So I click on this. So I go to 3D view, rotate it around, and I'm going to put material preview on. To move this along, by the way, if you click in with your mouse scroll wheel, like that, so you can see what's going on. And this is essentially what all materials look like behind the curtain. Okay, so we're going to change the color of it. So we're going to look for something that's like driving its base color. So it says base color there, and you come up here. Here it is. Now there is this website, which is very, very useful if you've got an image and you want to get a hex code. Now I originally had the orange label up here, so I'm going to put the blue one on. So let me just change that. Put my blue label up. If I click on it, it gives me the hex code. I can click here, go to hex, drop B. There we go. So the other thing you may choose to do, because you see all like the grain, we could unwrap it. We might get away with not doing it if we come and have a look at the scale a little bit. Or what we could try doing. So we can unwrap it quite easy, but we're going to just see if we can be a bit lazy. That's 3A, grab it all, and then I'm going to go to cube project, like that. So what I've actually done to make my life a bit easier with things like that is I went to UV editing, came to the scale ones here, and I've got like right click, and you can add to your quick favorites. When you hit Q, you get all your quick favorites of things. So I have added Q projection and smart project, just so when I'm trying to do something quickly, I don't have to jump between workspaces. Okay, so we've got our bottle. All we're going to have a go at doing now, in the next part, is have a go at just setting up a really simple lighting and then a bit of like a scene just to render it nicely. So I'm going to take that reference image, we don't need it, and just delete it. Grab this and go G to grab it, and Z just to move it up like that. And then what we're going to do is Shift A, mesh and plane. So we've got a plane there. Hit Tab to go into edit mode and choose to go into edge mode. Grab this edge here, hit E to extrude it and Z to lock it in place. And make it bigger, like that. And then I'm going to grab this edge again and hit Control B to bevel it, make the width a bit bigger, add some segments just to round it off. And then we're going to shade smooth like that. Okay, so now it's kind of like the funnest part for me is to add the lighting. Cause it's something I've really been trying to like practice a bit. It's really quite fun because it makes things look a lot more realistic. So at the minute, if I go into render mode, again, I give this a save. We've not got any lights in there, so we can't really see what's going on. Okay, so what we're going to do, Shift A to add, and we can go to light, and we can grab an area light. G and Z to grab it. So now you see what's going on. So we've got some lighting. So there's loads and loads of different ways you can add lighting. There's a lot of trial and error. There are loads of really good YouTube videos of people, not even like just doing lighting in Blender, just people that are doing like food lighting and that sort of thing. So I'm going to take this, hit G to grab it, R to rotate it, and just sort of point it at the bottle. Again, sort of like trial and error of how you want it to look. So you've got an idea of how it's going to look. I'm actually going to go to render and go to cycles so you get a better idea of what it's going to look like. And then I'm going to turn on GPU, so it's using the graphics card. And then I'm going to put on denoise. And I see I'm still floating up in the air, so I'm going to grab that G, Z just to bring it up like that. So already that's looking pretty good. There's loads of other kind of lights you can do. So one good thing you can do, so I'm going to grab this, I'm going to go Shift D, duplicate it, come to the top view, grab it and put it behind it, and point it at the back of the bottle. And just come to the side as well. I'm going to make sure there we go, that's what I want to do. It's pointing at the back of the bottle, like that. because then what we do, if I turn off the area, the front one, it's called a rim light. So you see it sort of like highlighting the back of the bottle like that. It starts to add a bit more to it, so it's kind of highlighting the outside a little bit. Now I'm going to put the background as the same sort of colour as the bottle, so I'm going to come here, click on the background, go to material, add a new one. And base colour here, I'm going to use the same hex code, like that. What I might do is make it a little bit lighter, like that. Now what we can do, so I'm going to grab this background, hit M to move it to a new collection, and call that background. And I'm going to grab my bottle label and lid and hit M and move to collection and call that bottle. Select on the light first of all, so we've got our area light selected, this back one. Come to the data panel on the hand side, under shading and light linking. When we click here, I'm going to go to bottle, and you see now rather than reflecting the actual background, it's just coming onto the bottle like that. So now if I turn the other area light off, we've just got that. So we can even play around in our light properties down here, up if you wanted to, and see what's going on. And now it's very much a case of just trial and error of trying to make this look as nice as possible. So you can play around with the different lights, add more or less power depending on what you want to. That's probably about right there actually, to be honest with you, like that. So we've got those two lights there. One other thing you can do is if you come to the world properties there, what you could do is surface, background, color rather, you can change that to an image texture, and you can then add what's called a HDRI. So I'm going to go to my downloads where I've got a couple of different ones. So if I go, I've got a kitchen one somewhere. I think it is that one. If I click there, it automatically lights everything up, but it's just using the lights from that. Now we can change the settings of that, so I can bring that back down to 0, so it's darker. But you can like start to play around a little bit more with a few different lights. So you basically, we've got 3 lights set up now. So we've got the HDRI in the background, we've got this key light, and then we've got this rim light here. So last thing I might do, well, that's a few little things you might do actually. So I have got an add-on here called Polydrop, which was free, which basically lets you add like condensation drops and that sort of thing. I'll try it and see how good it is. I only played around roughly with it. So I click on that and add droplets, and I get a massive droplet. Let's bring that down quite a bit. Just so we've sort of got like something else on there as well. I may turn this off. We'll just have a little play, see how it looks. That's too much. In fact, tell you what, let's just remove that. We won't bother with that. No, I'll play around a bit more with that later. So, last thing I want to do is add in a camera. So we're going to go Shift A to add, go to camera. So we've got a camera here. We want the camera to look at our bottle. So if you hit 0, it shows you what the camera's looking at, which is not where we want it to be. So we set out roughly where you want it to be. If you then come to View, Align View, Align Active Camera to View, or I've added it to my quick favourites. So if I press View, Align Active Camera to View, you get an idea of what it's going to look like that. I can probably get a little bit closer actually, so let's come in a bit more. Oh, that's too close. Something like that. So the last thing, I keep saying the last thing, I quite like to do, I'm not a big fan of just like completely flat backgrounds. What I like to do, got a view here so we can see what's going on. With this background that we've added our colour to, I like to add a little bit of noise. So what I do is Shift A, and type in noise. And all noise is add basically like little dots. So I make it really, really fine. So I'd like 5,000. So it's just a little bit grainy. That's going to mess with our colour. So I'm going to do Shift A and add a colour ramp and put it in the middle there. And then we can change these colours. And I've got that hex code still on my thing like that. There you go. But it just means that if you look at the background, it's just got a little bit of graininess to it. So we'll stop there. I'm going to give this a save. Come to render settings, which is here. We've got denoisers on. We've got everything set up how we want it to be. So all we're going to do then is let's just see if there's anything else we want to add. I think we're probably good. Now I'm going to go to render and render image. And we'll stop there. If you've got any questions, please leave a comment down below or email me at design with Simon@outlook.com.